Welcome back to Women in Transition. And today we're going to talk about anxiety. Um, I think it's important for us to take a few deep breaths and a few steps back from the overwhelm that is the current news cycle, right? And talk about some of the symptoms, the lesser known symptoms that you might be thinking, oh, I'm not anxious, I'm handling things pretty well. But your body is telling you that you're really anxious, and I want you to listen to it, especially women of a certain age. Hi, my Gen X sisters. We tend to stuff down a lot of things because we have had to over the years. But today I want to talk to you about 5 signs that you are more anxious than you realize. And it might be time to think about either talking to someone, as in getting a therapist, getting yourself into a place with materials that can help you, i.e., my new book, The Anxiety Solution, or just paying attention so that you can begin to make some changes that may allow you to feel less anxious if you're the kind of person who has a fairly good self regulation button. And if you don't, it's no shade, no shame. I love therapy, been in it for many, many years. But I think it's important that we talk about it, especially because there are three, there, especially because there are 3 reasons that I think this is important. Number one, because anxiety can mask other things, right? Sometimes we're anxious, but we're actually not anxious. Something is wrong. So, the first thing I want to say is that this is not a substitute for medical advice. If you feel any of the normal hallmarks of anxiety and you're not sure what's going on, call your doctor. Call your doctor. And here's the thing, as women, sometimes our symptoms look very different from the prescribed symptoms of things. And so I would prefer that you over aired on the side of caution and called your doctor if you feel like you need to, that you're experiencing something that's out of the norm. So that's number one. Um, Number two, it might make you feel a little less anxious. And then number three, because the world is really crazy right now, and I don't know about y'all, but even on my best intentions to always protect my peace sometimes is a lot of work, depending on the news of the day, right? But I am dedicated to not allowing the doom scrolling to overtake the joy scrolling. All right, so I want to talk to you about 5 anxiety symptoms that you might actually not recognize are your body signaling that you are anxious, but they are, in fact, signaling anxiety. I got my information from several different sites. One of them is the Anxiety Institute. I'm a researcher by trade and by nature. I'm a college professor. So I believe in grounding us in science, grounding us in facts. So, number one, tinnitus. It was so fascinating to me when I was researching for this live stream, because I have on and off over the years had a very faint ringing sound that sometimes pops up in my ear. It doesn't last very long, but it sometimes just feels like the world muffles a little bit. And then there's this soft little ringing sound, and then it goes away. Well, that's actually not abnormal. But here's what I learned about this particular ailment and anxiety. When you're anxious, your body also muffles your sound. Who knew, right? Your body also attempts to kind of put a wall around the outside to get you to focus in. Our bodies are amazing, right? Like, absolutely so amazing in how it tries to take care of us. It tries to tell us um, yes, it tries to tell. Sorry, I saw your comment about Kendrick Lamar and TV off. Because what was I not just listening to that before I went live? Yes, I was. How funny you should say that. Our body is constantly trying to protect us by doing things that we may feel like is causing us more stress, but your body is a lot like your car. It's going to flash all the lights on the dash before it conks out normally, right? It's going to run rough before it stalls. It's going to give you all these indicators before it says, okay, I'm going to put you in the hospital now. So when I read about tinnitus, I thought, well, over the years, I've had various times where my ear, that's actually not an abnormal thing, I guess, that happens, the tinnitus. But here's how it relates to anxiety. Again, when you're anxious, the anxiety of tinnitus happens more often and becomes more consistent because your brain is trying to filter out what did she say in the article? The anxious emotions that are flowing through your body. knew, right? So if your ears have been ringing a lot more than normal, if you feel like you are constantly have this ringing sensation going on that wasn't there before, and this is key because I'm talking about acute anxiety, anxiety that the onset of which is recent, and not chronic anxiety, which is a much different animal and a bigger beast than this broadcast can cover. So, ear ringing tinnitus that has been going on for a bit, maybe feels like it's constantly coming along on faster and faster, might be a sign that you want to A, have your ears checked, but B, check in with yourself because you might be trying to tell yourself something that you're not paying attention to. Okay. Second unknown or kind of not as well known symptom of anxiety, breaking out in hives, getting that random skin rash. Are you feeling yourself itching a lot more than normal? Do you find little patches of dry skin? And again, if you are a woman of a certain age, you know that you start asking yourself, is it menopause or is it something else? And this is one of those, is it menopause or is it something else? Because the skin goes through a lot of changes during menopause. But if everything else is normal and you're not in menopause, or you know that your body doesn't usually work out in hives and your doctor's like, you're fine. If you're breaking out unexpectedly in hives and rashes, that's a sure sign that you're probably anxious. Because again, the cortisol in your body is racing through your veins, racing along your central nervous system, and triggering in your body all kinds of reactions. Y'all, stress kills. We know that, right? We are fully aware that stress kills. And so your body is talking and saying these dry patches and raised welts and whatnot that come and go, that's your anxiety just pushing, trying to show you you've got to do something. You need to find a way to bring me down because I'm getting to the point where your body cannot contain it all, hence breaking out rashes and hives. Third, this one was a little shocking to me because I hadn't thought about it. Jaw pain. Do you grind your jaw? Some people, I have a very good friend who suffers from TMJ, and so she has to wear special. Um, it's not really a retainer. I guess it could be called a retainer. Anyway, she's always ground her jaw in her sleep, so she has to wear something when she sleeps. But if you suddenly find yourself grinding your teeth, that is a sure sign that you are anxious. And an exercise that people like to say is, oh, drop your jaw and breathe and it'll loosen this. Yes, it will, but it's the recurring of that, right? It's the you find yourself grinding your teeth at various points in the day because you're so tense and tight because you're so anxious. So that grinding, yes, in the moment you can stop yourself from grinding, but the question becomes, what's the underlying issue? What's the anxiety that's pushing you that you're grinding your teeth because you feel like you've got to do something with this energy? It doesn't have any place else to go. One of the things as I was reading through this information, through this research about anxiety, is that a lot of these things people just write off as normal. Like I said, I have a good friend who has TMJ. She's had jaw issues her whole life. Most of us don't, though. And so all of a sudden we're grinding our teeth and we don't stop to think, I never used to grind my teeth. Like, I never used to have tinnitus. And we just think, oh, it's getting older, it's this, it's that. And we don't actually stop and think, but this isn't actually a normal part of getting older. My father's 80. His ears don't ring, right? We just assume that, oh, this must just be a part of living. But what if it's not? Again, body like the car, right? Lights on the dash, trying to say, hello, 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 before you end up in the hospital with a full-blown anxiety attack. Please listen to me. And that's what things like tinnitus and the clenched jaw and hives and rashes are trying to tell us. Okay. 4. Y'all know I'm not here for a long time, but I'm going to make sure it's a good time. So 4, circulation issues. Circulation issues. I'm not even going to get into hot flashes because I just think those are a cruel twist of fate. But what I found is that when we're anxious, it in fact constricts our blood vessels. It constricts our actual blood vessels. So you may find yourself colder or hotter than normal when you're anxious. Now, again, menopause, perimenopause. Hot flashes are a separate thing. In fact, scientifically speaking, hot flashes are a reaction in the body to the estrogen hormone, right? This is a different feeling. This is literally you get colder or you get warmer because your body is now trying to control this feeling of anxiety inside of you. Um, it makes sense, right? Our body temperature kind of helps us figure out what's wrong in the world. If we're hot or too cold, we're like to have a fever. Am I under? I have a good friend who stays under the normal body temperature of people. So she's always flipping things off the charts because she stays cold. But, but, circulatory issues when you're anxious, and again, this is acute anxiety. In other words, they just started happening to you. Not that they've been happening for years. That's a whole different type of anxiety. That's chronic anxiety. That's the stuff that's going to kill us. We need to talk about that later. This acute stuff we can fix. Okay, we can fix it. So circulatory issues where you're finding yourself suddenly cold or suddenly hot, usually suddenly cold, but suddenly hot, and you have no business being suddenly hot because you're not in perimenopause. That's not normal. It's not normal. Okay, and that again, the body's saying whatever is noodling around in your noodle is driving you crazy, and I need you to pay attention to it. So I'm going to make you cold, or I'm going to make you hot, and I'm going to do it randomly so that you have to stop and go, why am I so cold all of a sudden? And we say things like, it must be a circulation issue. Well, did you have circulation issues last year? Or did they just come on about 3 months ago? Because if they just came on about 3 months ago, they might not just be circulation issues, they might be anxiety issues. All right. And the fifth one, I want to take a few minutes with, okay? Because I think it's really important. And this is disassociation. There are a lot of times where we need to check out of reality because reality sucks. It just does. Go read a book, go for a walk, go put your feet in the grass, go to a movie, go to a concert, go to the museum, take a trip, turn your phone off. I am a big proponent of all of these things. However, when anxiety takes our hand and forces us to disassociate from reality, what starts to happen is that we begin to not see ourselves as part of what's happening. And entering a disassociative state can be a very important and protective thing for a very short period of time. But if you find yourself consistently now choosing to dissociate away from reality, away from people, in a way that in your brain you are literally some other place, not in your body, and you're doing this more and more often, I'm going to encourage you to seek help. Again, this is not a medical channel. I am not giving you medical advice. This is one woman to another. It is okay to check out. We all need to do it. It is a problem when checking out becomes more of what you're doing instead of checking in. Instead of looking at yourself and going, okay, I'm a little too anxious. I need to go see my doctor because I need more than just therapy. I might need something else. That's what doctors are for. So dissociation, I feel like, is really a lesser known anxiety symptom because I imagine that not that kind of doctor. Yes, there's a doctor before my name. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm going based on the research that I have read, the studies that I have read. But what I'm reading, disassociation or dissociation, when we're anxious, should be temporary, right? It's an escape mechanism. And it's a clear sign when you come back to yourself, because you should come back to yourself and you realize I missed something because I'm just not here. And if that happens often enough, then that's when you want to that's when you want to get help outside of yourself. Okay? The Gen X generation had to learn that therapy was okay because we were not taught that. We were not told to go sit on somebody's couch and talk to them. And y'all, telehealth and telecounseling, all that stuff didn't even exist until like 5 years ago. So we really weren't going to go sit on somebody's couch unless we didn't have a choice. Luckily, After 4 or 5 decades on the planet, we've realized that we can save ourselves by getting help from other people who are experts in things that we are not experts in, like how to rewire our brain so that we're not so anxious all the time, right? Cognitive behavioral therapy is a beautiful thing. And so, as we have gotten to the place where we recognize that sometimes we need help outside of ourselves, it's important to take advantage of that help, okay? It's important to recognize that it's okay to get the help that you need to reduce your anxiety so that you can go forward and have a good quality of life. Because listen, who's not anxious these days? Who's not? Even people who are applauding the craziness that are happening, if you look at posts of people who are applauding, if you read their posts and their body language, you're like, it's like grinning through the pain, right? It's that grinning through the pain. This hurts, but I'm just going to keep smiling about it, daggone it, because that's what I asked for. Who's not anxious these days for whatever reason? So, my community, we're going to find out what are the symptoms of possible anxiety so that I can start paying attention to where my anxiety levels are so I can start to do something to bring them down and better my quality of life. Now, because you've stuck with me all the way to the end, I have two more for you. See how that works? See? Oh, hang on. Yes, we do normalize the madness. It's often crazy how many times women, especially, don't pay attention to symptoms and they're having a heart attack because so much of heart research was done on men. Women were an afterthought, and because they were an afterthought, their heart attack symptoms don't present the same as men, so they will have a heart attack, be having a heart attack, and no one will realize that that's what it was until it's too late. And so part of my goal with this channel, Women in Transition, is to show up and tell you, as women, we are centering us now. So we're going to talk about things, how they impact us, especially us, but especially Black women, because women got less study, Black women got studied on. And so we have to make sure that we are taking the information and making sure that it applies to us in a way that makes sense, that is useful for us. Okay. Okay. So I promised you two more. The first one is sleep disruptions. This one's probably not very shocking. A symptom of anxiety for most people is that you can't sleep. You're up all night. You're like, all right, well, it's 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. It's 3:30. Why am I still awake? Because your brain is trying to talk to you. Because your brain is trying to tell you something. When I get those moments, and you know what, like I said, I have my days. But when I cannot sleep, I make myself a deal. And that is, I'm going to go lay down. And if I cannot fall asleep after 15 minutes, then I'm just going to get up. Because I don't believe in tossing and turning. I like my sleep too much. I have good sheets. I got good pillows. I got electric blankets. I mean, I like my bed. So if I'm not going to be able to sleep because I really want my sleep, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up. And then I'm going to go do something. Because if my brain can't come down enough to allow my body to fall into its rhythm of sleep, then that means I need to find something for my brain to do. Oddly enough, when I make that pact with myself, I fall asleep. Because I'm like, I don't really want to get up. But if I'm going to get up, I'll just get up and go do something. I have work to do. I always have work to do. I'm not going to clean house, but I have books to write. I have a YouTube channel that I'm trying to grow. I have all kinds of things I'm trying to do, right? Like I'm trying to record an audiobook. I got all kinds of things I could be doing. So why am I going to toss and turn and stress myself more because I can't sleep when I could just get up and do something? And I'll eventually either get sleepy or I won't. Most of the time though, I don't make it back out of bed. My brain's like, no, you're not getting me up at 3:30 in the morning. You're going to go to sleep. And that's what I do. Okay, last one. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this to some of you. You've suddenly become very controlling. You are suddenly asking that people around you do more things on your schedule, on your timing. You are micromanaging your friends, family, and life, and you did not used to do this. The need to over control is a sign of anxiety. When you've never been the kind of person for whom the need to over control someone was part of your makeup, and now all of a sudden you got to know where are my people? What are they doing? When are they coming home? How much is that going to cost? Where are you going to be? Do I have your number? If you have become the kind of person for whom the Life 360 app on your phone, you're constantly now checking where everybody is in space and time. You're constantly worrying about who's doing what to whom, where, and why. And this wasn't your normal 3 or 4 months ago, 5, 6 months ago, then your anxiety is ramping up because over control is a clear symptom of anxiety. It is an attempt to wrestle back from the world a measure of control because you feel like the world is out of control. I don't have a good cure for this one, except what I've been saying and will continue to say. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to get help. Please do not make your friends your therapists. Make your therapists your therapists. We are women of a certain age. We understand that we are a wealth of empathy and information, and our shoulders are strong, and we will hold you close. But a therapist will help you in ways your friends cannot. Okay? So there are many ways to navigate anxiety. Hang on, let me read some comments because I don't want to miss anything. Oh, hi Kim. Good to see you. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, it's my rule for it's my pact to myself. I can't lay in bed and toss and turn. Like I just can't do it. Like yeah, I get all restless and I get all twitchy and like if I'm just gonna lay here, if I'm gonna be awake, then let's just be awake. But if I'm gonna go to sleep, then I'll go to sleep. So I'll give myself 15, 20 minutes. And if I'm still awake, I'm gonna get up. And like I said, oddly enough, I would say that 90% of the time it's morning and I'm waking up from having fallen asleep. But that 10% of the time, I have a journal, I have projects. I mean, it's the middle of the night, it's quiet. I'll make a cup of tea and I'll work on something until I get tired. Better than just tossing and turning and stressing myself out because I'm tossing and turning. So, I mean, 20 minutes I feel like is a good amount of time to lay there and figure it out. And it appears to work for my brain because, like I said, next thing I know, it's my alarm's going off, and I'm like, oh, look, I gotta get up now. Okay, so let's bring this back around to where I began, which is there are many there are many symptoms of anxiety that might mimic something else. This was not an attempt to circumvent seeing your doctor if you are concerned about some of the things that you might be feeling. Your medical doctor. That's number one. Number two, it is also a nice wake up call to maybe say, I might need a little more help right now than I can give myself. So I'm going to make an appointment to see a therapist, to talk to someone, to just bounce off someone neutral who can help me see where my anxiety is taking me before it takes me over the cliff into something that my medical doctor might need to, take care of. And finally, there are resources available to you. I have a book called The Anxiety Solution. It is an ebook, the link for which is available in the description of the page of the channel. And I wrote it just for this reason, because anxiety, acute anxiety, the sudden onset of anxiety because of circumstances. Y'all, we're in circumstances where all of us are a little more anxious than we were 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago. The only way to get out of it is to get through it. And unfortunately, it would appear we're going to be in this for a minute. So get some help, love on yourself, drink your water, don't toss and turn. Remember that you're not alone and that you have found a community that is encouraging you to put yourself first. That's all I have for today. Thank you all for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. As always, please like, subscribe, and share. We're pushing out this community and we're building our boat one person at a time. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye now.